Hello everyone, I am Fatima Huda Betty from English House, and in this video I'm going to share with you how exactly you can fake confidence on stage. So again, public speaking is such a handy skill, I have to say, but there are a lot of people who doesn't naturally have a lot of confidence to be up on stage, which is why you have to fake confidence. Now, why exactly fake confidence? Because what happens when you can fake confidence, or if you stop the audience from letting them know that you have a lot of stage fright, what happens is that they give you a lot of good feedbacks and your performance will turn out to be good. And if that happens, the benefit is that it's going to boost up your real confidence. So you're going to be super confident later on. And then this will again make your performance better. So this is going to be like a vicious circle. It's going to continue until you become the epitome of perfectionism. So again, moving on, I'm going to share with you a few tips that you can use in order to fake confidence. So again, say you're the audience, and if you're there, if you're watching someone on stage, sometimes you feel like the person is having a lot of confidence, but sometimes they let you know that they have a lot of butterflies in their stomach. So why does this happen? It's because they show or express their fear through their body language, which is our key to success, because we have to break down the psychological aspect of fear and what exactly our body language is when we are afraid of the people or the audience in front of us, and we should avoid these mistakes, which is exactly why I'm going to explain to you what you have to do. So the first tip is to improve your body posture and your gestures. So this is such an important aspect, guys. I'll just tell you what exactly you're supposed to be doing. So if I'm like talking to you right now, I'm talking to you right now, and in case if I'm like looking down, I'm not looking at the audience. So as of now, as I'm shooting the video, my audience is actually you. And I have to look into the camera to face the audience. But in fact, if I'm not looking to you, looking onto you, and if I'm like fixing my gaze somewhere over here where I'm more comfortable while talking, and then if I'm having my body lowered like that, and if I'm talking like, hello everyone, I'm Fatima Huda, if I'm talking like that, how would you feel? Would you be invested in my show? Would you be finding me intriguing? That's not going to happen, isn't it? Which is why you have to keep your body straight. Always keep your body straight. Your shoulders should not be hunched like that. In fact, it should be straight. You have to keep your body straight, and you have to keep your head up high. So you should not be looking down, you should not be looking up, like not looking like that. You're supposed to be looking at the audience. So when you're on stage, you have the audience in front of you, like, it's all over the place. So this is the second tip. In order to grab the attention of the audience, you have to look at all of them. So you just have to sway your head once in a while in a 180-degree angle, once in a while. Just go ahead and sway your head like that. And while you're doing that, you grab the attention of the audience. So you have to look at the audience and not at, because I've heard a lot of people do this, I've seen a lot of people do this, that they have this particular comfortable point from the audience. It can be their mother, it can be their friend, it can even be a blank spot in the audience where they like to look at. So they'll just fixate their gaze over there and then they look at that. But that is super awkward. Like imagine someone just talking to the entire audience but looking at a fixed point and not looking at the rest of the audience. It's going to look, it's going to express how unconfident you are, which is exactly why you have to look at the audience and give that sway of head once in a while. And then the third tip is to speak louder and clearer, because once you're clear and once you have a loud voice, that doesn't mean you have to screech off the mic. That's not what I mean, but you have to be loud enough. Because if you're murmuring with the mic, and if you're like whispering to the mic, like, hello everyone, I'm Fatima Huda, I hope you hear what I'm saying. If that happens, nobody is going to be invested in your show. So in order to stop your audience from getting distracted, which is very important, because if they are distracted, that's going to suck up all your confidence, because they're going to make a lot of noise, they're not going to give you much attention, which again on stage you can feel it. And that's one thing that I really like about public speaking, because when you're on stage you get instant feedback. So say I'm on stage, I know if my speech or whatever that I'm saying is going well or not very easily and very quickly as well, because they give me that vibe, you see, like when the audience will give you that vibe. So once you're doing a good job, they will make sure that they're listening to you, which will instantly boost your confidence. So these are some of the tips. Again, in case if you are having a doubt on how exactly you should be looking at the audience, you just have to think of yourself as the CCTV camera of a big boss show. You just have to go ahead and then sway your head like that once in a while and talk to the audience. You can also use a lot of gestures, because in fact for me, I find it very comfortable and relaxed when I use my hands a lot, because you can already see my hands talk way more than my mouth. So I like to use my hands when I speak to be relaxed and to say what I actually mean. But there are some of my friends who like to keep their hands like this. So they find that more comfortable. So choose your style, walk around if you want, because on stage you can definitely walk around unless you have a podium in front of you. So go ahead and do what's comfortable for you. And if you can do and if you trust me guys, if you can somehow inbuild these characteristics into your public speaking events, then that's going to make your show way better than what it used to be, and that will give you a lot of compliments, that will give you a lot of good feedbacks, and this will again contribute to boosting your actual confidence, your real self-confidence on stage, and this is going to continue into a vicious circle. And the next important point is to practice your mistakes beforehand. So you have to understand, we're speaking, right? When we are on stage, especially right now, I'm speaking to you, and the thing with speaking is that you can go wrong any random time. So right now when I'm talking to you, I can have a slip of my tongue, I can have grammatical errors, I can have probably I might have a mind fog. So these are things that might happen. These are possibilities that are quite possible to happen. In fact, there's a lot of there's a high chance of this happening, which is exactly why you have to practice beforehand. What will you do? How are you going to handle a situation if there's a mistake that's happening? You have to be prepared for that. So in case sometimes we know that we're making mistakes, so if that happens, if you realize that you've made a mistake, say it can be a vocabulary mistake, it can be a pronunciation mistake, or whatever that is, if you're aware of the mistake that you've done, what I advise you to do is to go ahead and correct it then and there. You don't have to wait. You can correct it then and there, because these are things that usually happen, isn't it? You cannot be 100% perfect when you're speaking, because this is such an instant stuff. And even with the feedback, while speaking, you get instant feedback because you're usually having a conversation or a communication, and that will give you instant feedback. So you have to correct it then and there when you're aware of the mistake that you've done. But in case if you're oblivious of the mistake that you've done, then what you can do is this can be a little more embarrassing, because a second person, a third party, can end up correcting you. So if that happens, you just have to accept whatever they're saying, because they're just correcting you, isn't it? So you have a mistake, you just have to accept your mistake, you just have to learn from the mistake and then correct it later on, and that's all that you have to do. You can be super optimistic about these mistakes, because it happens to every single person. Especially, language is such a vast subject. You cannot 100% learn it, isn't it? Can you be fully knowledgeable about such a vast subject? There's no person on earth who can completely learn a language entirely, like all the aspects of it. You cannot do that. So you have to accept the fact that you are not perfect enough, and there's always a better person than you. So you just have to correct your mistake whenever somebody comes to you and says you have made a mistake. That is all that you have to do.